Today's story is about a greedy dog, Dogo, and his greed for a shadow bone. This story teaches us that greed can blind us to what we already have, and we may lose everything chasing what isn't real. In a quiet little town nestled between two rivers and a forest, there lived a scruffy, brown dog named Dogo. He had something just valuable, that's his cleverness. Dogo had learned every trick in the book to survive how to sneak. Scratch from the butcher's shop, where the baker dropped bits of bread, and which farmer was kind enough to leave out leftovers. Still, he was always hungry. Not because there wasn't food, but because Dogo always wanted more. A quarrel had broken out between the butcher and a cat who had snuck off with a chicken wing. While the butcher yelled and chased, he didn't notice a huge, meaty bone fall from his chopping table and roll onto the dusty ground. He snatched the bone and ran before anyone could see him. His tail wagged with joy. "I've never had a bone this big!" Dogo trotted through winding paths, away from the village and toward the cool shade of the forest. He knew the perfect place to enjoy his prize, the old wood bridge that crossed the slow-moving creek. The bridge was quiet, shaded, and rarely visited. Dogo liked to sit in the middle, dangle his paws off the edge, and munch in peace. He reached the bridge, climbed to the center, and paused to admire his bone. The smell made his mouth water, but as he leaned over the edge to look at the water, something strange happened. Below the bridge, in the rippling water, Dogo saw another dog. It looked just like him, with scruffy fur and hungry eyes. And the dog in the water also had a bone, but it looked even bigger. Dogo tilted his head. "Wait a second! That bone is huge! Twice as big as mine!" He stepped forward, eyes locked in the reflection. That dog must have stolen a better bone. If I bark loud enough or scare him, he'll drop it and it'll float up to me. Without another thought, Dogo opened his mouth and barked fiercely. "Woof! Woof! Drop that bone, you thief!" But as soon as he barked, the bone in his mouth fell right through the slats of the bridge and splashed in the creek below. Dogo gasped as he looked down and watched his precious bone sink slowly, carried away by the lazy current. The reflection dog disappeared, replaced by ripples. There was no other dog and no second bone. Just the cold, cruel truth. Dogo sat in silence. He stared into the water for a long time, as if hoping the bone might rise back up. I lost it! I lost a real bone for a fake one!" He lay down on the bridge, ears drooping, heart heavy. "It was just my shadow," he whispered. "I was so greedy. I couldn't even enjoy what I had." The sun began to set, casting golden light over the creek. The trees whispered with the wind, and even the birds grew quiet. As night approached, a sleek red fox trotted up the bridge. "Evening, Dogo," she said. "I saw what happened." Dogo didn't lift his head. "Then you saw how foolish I was." The fox sat beside him. "We all fall for shadows sometimes, but not everyone learns from them." Dogo looked up. "What do you mean?" "You lost a bone." "True, but you gained a lesson." "That's something many never get." Dogo sighed. "I suppose. I never thought about it like that." The next day, Dogo didn't go to the butcher or bakery. Instead, he visited the old mouse who lived under the tavern steps. He brought her a piece of bread he found. He shared his water with a thirsty bird, and let a kitten eat the rest of his biscuits. For the first time, his belly was not full, but his heart was. Each act of kindness made him feel a little better and a little brighter. In the weeks that followed, the village began to notice something. "Hey, isn't that the dog who used to steal sausages? He just helped my ducklings cross the road. I saw him keeping watch over a lost child until her mother came." Dogo became a helper, a protector, and a friend. The villagers began calling him Good Dogo, and even though he was still scruffy and sometimes still hungry, he was no longer just clever, he was wise. One winter night, as the wind howled and the stars blinked through the dark sky, Dogo laid up curled under a tree. Suddenly, he heard footsteps. A girl named Leela, the baker's daughter. gently scooped him up and wrapped him in a warm blanket. "You're always helping others," she said. "It's time someone helped you." From that night on, Dogo had a bed by the fireplace, his own bowl, and a name on a wooden tag around his neck. Dogo, loyal and kind. So, dear friends, the moral of this story is, greed makes us chase shadows and forget the treasures we already have. True joy comes not from having more, but from appreciating what we have and sharing it with others.